Okay guys, we're not in my usual truck because I got in a bad car wreck about 5 days ago. And this is going to be kind of the short version of this. I've already tried to record this several times. So this is the long short of it. Me and Danielle, we're life partners. We raised 3 kids for 17 years. We are now living at 2 different households, one for separation and then another reason because Olive, my youngest, the only daughter that I still have in the house, needed to go to a specific school that she had picked out. And all of us have been adjusting to that, and it's something that I meant to check in with for my long-term viewers. And I know that usually we do adventure stuff and treasure stuff. This is just a check-in. So I feel like I need to explain to you what's happened to me in the last week and how the perfect storm all kind of came together and why it is so beautiful to be alive right now and have everything that I have, even though I've lost everything that I've lost. So in August, Olive and Danielle moved away, about 2.5 hours away. So I travel to see Olive and stay with them on the weekends, most weekends, and that's basically how it works out. And then I travel back to the area where you've always known me to be, and continue on the stuff there. I've stayed at the family house, and that is the short of that. So that's been a life adjustment in its own. About 2 weeks ago, I got COVID, and it took me out, and I was happy to have recovered from that. I left where Danielle and Olive live, and I started crossing the Central Valley of California, which is this huge expanse that you see me in now. I'm still in a borrowed vehicle. I'm on my way home now, and I've just finished taking down all of the posters that I could find that we put up for my missing dog. I was crossing, I was about 1.5 hours from where they live, and about 1.5 hours from home. I had Mars and Indigo with me. I always build them a little bed right here. They sit on it and ride. It's easier for Mars. It was pouring rain. I had put my seatbelt on, which I don't always do 100%. You should, and I always will. I've just been bad about it in the past. People have been getting on me more recently, so I did it because it was, the right thing to do, and it was raining and everything. So thank God I had it on, and I got up to where, it's big highways that cross this, and everybody's commuting. And I took a left turn and I got T-boned. I had a turning lane, so I'd slowed way down and almost to a complete stop. It was a low-profile, dark car. 25 years since I've been in a car accident. I got fully impacted, flung around 180 degrees. That destroyed the truck. My truck is destroyed. My white truck is destroyed. And it was the treasure hunting stuff. So the pieces of the mine lab and everything were laying everywhere. But I just want to get over that, okay? Because that's material crap. So that's not what we're talking about. I looked down and Indigo was in my lap and I was alive. I didn't do much of a self-check. I put it in park and I got out because I looked this way and the window was blown out and Mars was gone, and I knew that we had spun super hard. So I figured he had been ejected. I was assuming the worst, and I needed to check on everything else that had happened. I wasn't sure how many vehicles. If you've ever been in a bad accident, your brain's not working right. And I, of course, was in shock. So I jumped out. The other driver was angry, screaming at me. We established he was okay and there was nobody else involved. And I looked down the road, these long, crazy, 10-mile-long orchard roads out here, and Mars was running down the side of it, away from me, out of scream's reach already. So I took Indigo, running in the rain, with my truck still sitting there, no highway patrol had even shown up yet, running down the side of the highway, screaming for Mars until he was out of sight. And the nice man stopped. I believe your name might be Dawn. I think that he said he knew me. This was all secondhand, but they recognized me from Quest for Details. I'm not sure how much time is passing during all of this, and he put me back in his truck because Mars was gone at that point. He put me back in his truck and took me back to the crash scene so that I would, and I had never gone out of sight of it, and helped me get back there. So thank you to you, thank you to Jenna and everybody, thank you to the Highway Patrol. Everybody did everything that they could for me and helped me look for that dog as long as they could that day. And then Danielle showed up, and my sister drove over, and my mom, who had been at the coast with my cousin Jessica, who you remember from other stuff, showed up or started heading this way. My sister and my brother-in-law brought me this truck so I could continue to look. So the hunt began for Mars because it was raining still, and it's massive out here, and he's from an hour and a half that way and has been living for only a couple of months an hour and a half the other way. And we're in between it's like 20 miles between cities here, towns, and all these ranch lands. So my sister came and helped us look until sunset, dropped off this vehicle, and then went back and got on Facebook. And I am blown away by the Facebook community, the animal people who all keep in touch with each other online. Everybody got online for us, and that rippled and shared. There was hundreds of shares. So thank you to all of you. The outpouring of empathy and attention. I know everybody's lives have a lot of stuff going on, always, but the amount of attention from this vast area that like poured out and cared is just mind-blowing. It literally has restored my faith in humanity. It has restored my faith in humanity. I believe that this is Colusa County, this area between the community of Arbuckle and Williams and Colusa, and everybody that was involved, and as far as it went, everybody online, the fact that there's hard-working people that got off at the end of their day and checked in, and we had reports from Willows. Just thank you. I had no idea there was such a heartland out here still, and that's what you are. I hope you understand that. This is still the day of the wreck. My sister had to go home. My mom and Jessica arrived and met us out here, helped us look after dark, which was impossible. This is massive out here. It backs on wildlife estuaries, and helped us look and helped us look and helped us look, and then got a hotel nearby so that they could help us put up flyers and look all the next day. Also remember that my truck had been totaled at this point. I'm leaving out all of my truck got brought to a tow yard. So the next day, we all got up. We needed to continue the search. At the crack of dawn, Danielle was making flyers. We were getting Olive off to school, and then we were headed back an hour and a half away to where we had last seen Mars. Meanwhile, the internet community and this community out here, word of mouth and everything, had started to spread and spread and spread. My mom and Jessica had been up since the crack of dawn. Oftentimes when I ran into people and I was trying to tell them about this, they had already heard about it from them. And they did massive grids all through this area, which these roads are 10 miles long, and they have 10-mile crossroads, and half of them are dirt, and it's orchard, and it's intensely big, and you have no idea which way the dog ran. We looked, we flyered, we continued all through that day. My sister continued to check in with everybody. This community out here, all of these people continued to stay in touch with each other, pay attention, and we gridded, we drove. Me and Danielle and my mom and Jessica in 3 different vehicles drove and drove and drove and drove and flyered and flyered and flyered and went to the towns around here and flyered, and all of the little stores put our things up. That's why I'm getting done at sunset now, trying to take all those things down. And I just kept driving, and we drove until sunset, until my mom and Jessica had to go home. Me and Danielle met up. We flyered the town of Arbuckle, and then at sunset, about an hour after sunset, when you don't know how many days you're supposed to drive and put up flyers and how far, and everything about what's been happening to your dog has been running through your head nonstop, and I have not gone to a hospital, and I have not eaten, and I'm driving, and I'm driving, and I am looking, and I'm looking. My sister says, there's this man that saw him at work. A bunch of his workers saw him at work. It's about 15 miles away north of there, the opposite direction from when he ran, but this guy says it must be him, because he's at home now looking at the thing online, and he says it's him, and Mars is so distinct. And I realized for the first time that it might be true, that he might be found, not found, but that somebody had seen him, that he didn't just run up the road and fall into some ditch here. This is my best friend. He's been keeping me. Oh, okay, so my dog is my best friend. So, I tell Danielle, and we start heading there. It's about a 20-minute drive. My sister sends another message that says that the guy is actually going to meet us on the road out there, and he's going to drive us into the big yard where they were trying to give this dog water, and he's going to show me the exact 5-foot area where they saw him last. And for all I know, he could have run from there for another 20 miles in the opposite direction, so I didn't want to get my hopes up too much. Also, he had been running from me because he was terrified, and the animal controller told me that possibly he might be terrified of me, so I should try not chasing him and stuff. So, we pulled in, we drove down this road, a set of headlights came. You, sir, are my hero. You're my hero for stopping your world. All of you for communicating, for reaching out to each other, for resharing that so many times. All of the human beings that stopped after all of this work out here and took care of everything. There was people saying, I'm getting on my ATV tomorrow and I'm driving all day long looking for this dog. And the amount of work that I see going on out here, I'm from working people. I get it. So to have given me that time and energy, and he drove out there, he had his dogs in the back of his truck. We were following him through this tractor yard, and I look over after 2 days of hallucinating your dog everywhere. And I see a little profile of like a soccer ball with his 2 lopey ears on there, I swear. And I stop and I back up because it's dark. And I shine my flashlight over there, and his eye reflection lights back, and it's Mars, and I know it. And I get out, and he's hunkered down for the evening under the big lights at the front of a big tin barn, big tractor barn, where these nice people have been trying to give him water. So he was like, I'm going to stay where the good people are and hunker down here. He was also bloody pawed because he had run so far. He was covered in mud up to here because these are rice paddies. I'm sure he got into some things. He had to cross Highway 20. He had to cross the big canal of the estuary. He had to do all that. He ended up north outside of Colusa. But Mars, I get out of the vehicle and shine the light, and he stands up and he stops, and you can see, I could see, or I could hear it, or I could feel it, or whatever, and he's just like, what? And I'm like, what? And he like runs towards us, and it's just him. He's just like his typical him. And I go and I holler for the other guy that brought us out here, that just rescued my dog for me, that finished the whole nightmare. And I thank him, and he's just like, he's got his dogs with me. He's like, I've lost my animals before, I get it. I don't need anything. I'm like, hey, I want to repay. He's just like, you just take your animal home and enjoy him. And instantly, I told my sister and this community out here, like, breathe a sigh of relief with me. I could feel it and started taking it down. That's why I'm out here at sunset. I'm trying to go home now to where I live and return this borrowed vehicle and look at what's left of my truck, because that's where it ended up getting towed to, and thank everyone there. And I wanted to thank everyone here. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone. I need to take a deep breath. This has been really hard. Thank you to my viewers. What I wanted to say to the Quest for Details subscribers and everybody. We have a lot of footage because of a lot of the things that have been going on in life, trying to start the store and everything else. I haven't edited everything that I've filmed, so we have about a month and a half of footage, and when I feel like it's appropriate, I will sit down, and if it is something I can accomplish, I'll start putting out episodes. To this video, I will read the comments. I have so many things to stress about that I'm trying to just get back to normal and get back on the horse and be safe. And so I don't know that I'm going to be able to respond to all the comments, and I will go and I will read them, and I will heart them and let you know that I read them when I have the time, for sure. And I will please appreciate you sticking with me right now, because my game, financially and physically, you know, thank God for seatbelts, but I took some impact, and mentally, just kind of taxed out right now, needless to say. So the dog's home, the dog is safe. Dog appears to be completely healthy, so does the little dog, so do I. Thank God that the other driver is as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, viewers at home. This is what's been going on with me. When it rains, it pours. Stuff happens. You start from the bottom. Don't worry about all that crap. Okay, to see me sitting here, I'm alive. The other guy's alive. The animals are alive. They're not lost. My dog isn't lost forever without answer. My prayers have been answered. My miracles have been given. Okay? And my faith in humanity has been restored. So sometimes it takes a good punch, you know? And then a big hug. And I've had both. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. I try and edit all the pieces of this together when I can. I hope it's not many days before it gets out there. I'm gonna go home now. Gonna go home. Sorry for the far out flyers that might still be up. I tried to take them down out of respect for everybody. Sorry for everybody that I affected in a negative way. Sorry for everything that it took from everybody. Thank you for everything. For giving me my dog back, for taking care of me, for everything. Okay. Until I see you next time, please take care of yourselves, and if you get the chance, take care of each other. Good night.